What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the Crispy Comet. This is a 1972 Mercury Comet GT that we bought from Copart that obviously has been completely burnt to a crisp. In our last episode, believe it or not, we got that built 302 running. I don't know. Man, this thing sounds awesome. Big, choppy cam. It is backed by a 4-speed. We're gonna get the original wheels and I'm gonna say wheels and tires. The tires were burnt off. The original wheels back on and try to get this thing to move under its own power. I think one of the first things we probably need to clean. I don't want to see the interior of the car out. The inside of the car. The interior is a big pile in the bottom here. Because we don't want to be breathing all that mess in. And this thing smells just like a big char. It's not a very great smell. So we're going to try to, I don't think we'll completely get rid of it, but I think we can help our safety and be able to drive this thing once we get it a little bit cleaned out in there. With the door open here, this is definitely the better side. And as you can see, the car was silver. In its last iteration, it was silver. But originally, there's that bright yellow. And you can see around the shifter there, that bright yellow. From what I've seen, 98% of bright yellow cars were GTs. So I'm nearly positive now, especially with being its bright yellow, that this car was a factory GT car, not just a made-up one, but it still could possibly be. Obviously, with the trim, pretty sure it was a vinyl top car, and that's probably why this took as much heat as it did. That top burning off of it really created a lot of heat. But the big thing with this, you know, it's actually still a couple little spots got some I guess you could say weakness, but it's not like you would think. You know, panels like this, whatever, that's not structural, doesn't really matter. But the big things are actually still really solid. So we may actually, I've been thinking about it, and we might put a cage in the car since we're gonna drive it. Maybe Hot Rod Power Tour this year. Just the way it is. But from a structural standpoint, I don't think I think it's safe. You think it's safe? He thinks it's safe. I guess to start with, we just get in here and grab every little bit of stuff that we can. And we'll vacuum it out and see what we're working with. What are we getting into? I'm gonna save every little piece that I can. Like this headlight, definitely want to reinstall it. This radio, that'll be good to use again. Headlight bucket, mint. Wow. Hard to believe there is floor under there, and you can see that original yellow paint. I think what really protected this floor was this thing started to get sprayed down when it was on fire and just completely drenched the carpet and everything. You can see it held a lot of moisture, so we got a lot of surface rust that has appeared and everything. You can see a couple patch spots here, but for the most part, wow, that does make me feel a lot better again about the chassis of this car. Kind of the baseline, the bottom of the car seems to be in relatively good shape. I think will be safe. But something else that is so flippin' exciting that we found, we were actually able to get in that glove box. I don't know if it was here and got there, if it had a glove box in the center here, but it was just melted into a puddle. We were able to open it up, and inside we found the registration and insurance card. I did some creeping on Facebook, kind of tracking down, because he was local here to South Carolina. And I actually found his Facebook page. I was able to get in contact with him, and I just spent probably a half hour talking to him on the phone about the car. And sure enough, this is a 1972 Mercury Comet GT that the gentleman, of course, he's still pretty sad about it. He doesn't want to see the car necessarily, but he thought it was really cool that we're able to get the thing run. He actually has some parts and a parts car we're probably going to go check out here soon. But he bought this car in high school. He's in his early 60s, I think, maybe around 60 years old. He bought this car in high school and has had it the whole time. That is actually a crate motor that was probably from a local machine shop. I don't know what kind of horsepower it's putting down. We can tell it's, he said it was pretty darn healthy, and it's only got about 1,500 miles on it. This top floater 4-speed has also been rebuilt relatively recently from the sounds of it. And he had some really cool stories about the car. I know he's disappointed, upset about it, but I'm so glad he was willing to talk to us about the car. And we got a picture of it. He's going to send a few more as well, so we can really see a few little details of the car. But it's cool to see. You can see where it was a vinyl top car. You can see the spoiler, the front spoiler, the rear spoiler. It actually had a chin spoiler as well. Really was a slick ride. But with this taken care of, we are going to go through, clean all the rust up and everything, and actually coat the entire interior of this car with a rust preventative coating. Before the time being, let's get back under that engine bay so we can dial a few things in. Our makeshift belt there didn't last too long, so I want to make all of our accessories work anyways. Gonna go ahead and pull this alternator because it's completely frozen. I'm gonna try to just put the reservoir on the power steering and see if it'll function the way that it is. I still cannot believe that this is a crate motor. And he said this was just his weekend cruiser, so it hadn't had a ton of miles on it in a lot of years. But he said it is he said that's a fun motor. He said it's a pretty bad car. Whew. And what we ended up going with here is the Tough Stuff GM one-wire alternator. This actually came from, I think, Speedway Motors, straight through Amazon. And this is going to be nice because it's just a one-wire hookup here. We don't have to worry about a voltage regulator and everything because we obviously have a lackage of wiring. And this is going to make us have a charging system pretty easily. These were only about $100, so not a huge investment to get us a charging system. And it looks pretty cool. Should we have bought a replacement power steering pump? Probably, but you know. Yeah, we might want a replacement line. It's acts like it's still got power steering fluid in it. Sweet. Look at that. New reservoir. And that might be good. Sheesh. There's our coolant overflow. Oh look, it's still got coolant in it. And the washer reservoir might need to be replaced. Here's the new one. And that's a Dorman 603-900. Just picked this up off of Amazon along with a new cap. And this is clearly probably a 90s or mid 80s, maybe 90s power steering pump over what that car would have came with. From the looks of it, power steering might have been relatively rare on that car. And I do think the whole setup is off of a newer Mustang. Ah, that's so nice to see. And crazy how clean it is, that fluid in there. And with that off, bloop, I am making a mess. Whew, lots of water. But hey, power steering pump looks surprisingly really good. Well, we got our new line made up for our power steering from a local hydraulic store. And what's nice is it's flame resistant. We got some power steering. With those accessories in place and everything sounding pretty good, before we can roll, we have to be able to stop. So we're gonna fix the brakes on this thing. That's what we're gonna do now. Yeah. What's nice, dual pot master. Oh wow, look, that metal's so... I have a feeling, oh weird, it doesn't have any brake fluid. What an odd circumstance we've come across here. Whew. I'm gonna soak everything. What's a shame is, yuck. No, I'm just kidding. What's a shame is it looks like it was pretty new, not really rusty or anything, but definitely not gonna take a chance with that. So let's go ahead and get that master pulled off of there. Let's pull our rear brakes apart. As you see, flopping around, it's already started coming off. Looks great in there. Didn't take a tremendous amount of heat, thankfully. Another one of those things not going to take a chance with. So we're going to go ahead and tear the rear brakes apart. We'll do the rear. And then we know hose is burnt off. That is gone, but looks good. So we are going to put rebuild kits in the calipers. We're going to try that for now. So something I came across, I thought about just buying replacements because I was worried about the amount of heat that they took. But what I have found, I think it was a relatively rare option, and it's kind of hard to find these calipers. I found them online. They're not super cheap. And so first, we're gonna look at it, make sure it didn't take too much heat. As long as those pistons move freely and it doesn't seem like we're gonna have issues, we'll put the O-ring in it, we'll put a new wiper seal, and I think those calipers will work out for us. With that out, something I was noticing, we might have some pedal issues here. That is completely melted away. I did some research on it. It looks like we put a kit in it. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is put all that together, and that might be some of our clutch issues because the pedal is like flopping around when you're trying to engage. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is order a kit, and we'll get the brakes working so we can try to drive it. Hopefully the kit will come in soon. We can drop the full pedal set, put the full rebuild in there, and solidify our pedals just slightly. use it, flip it. You having fun in there?
Oh my goodness.
Getting a little dirty.
It's nasty.
Thankfully, those lines look super good. You know, the biggest thing underneath the car, it doesn't look like we got a ton of burn. Maybe a little bit. But mostly just soot under here, which we'll have to get under and clean because you can see it peeled some of the paint. But we got to make sure it drives well first. Jumping in here, you can see this caliper is designed a little different than what you're used to. Ford had this kind of goofy deal here where you take this Allen bolt loose. So you can see the little clasp and then the little spring here that holds everything together. Now our caliper is loose, and as you can see, ooh, that's crunchy. Wheel bearing is, to my surprise, completely dry. So we need to pull the dust shield. Definitely gonna have to grease this thing back up.
And I'm gonna pull these bearings out so I can clean them up and re-grease them. It is straight oil now. Now that I got the bearings cleaned out and they look super good, no burn, no scarring, I got to repack them now. Get the grease in and just try to force it in everywhere. So you're packing it real good. Just like so.
Well, that's a different size. It's kind of just one of those things you run into. I don't know if you noticed, if you've messed around with them, you probably know exactly what this is. This is a Mustang 2 caliper. That's why they're so rare on Comets and why it was hard to get parts, because there weren't many. Somebody did a Mustang 2 conversion up front here. I wonder if the whole front end, oh my, we're gonna have some figuring out to do on this car, but that's good to know. I guess I'll go ahead and order a kit for these. Was I able to get rebuild kits on a rush from our local auto parts store? No. Was I able to buy replacements for $30 a piece? Yeah. I guess that's kind of the way we're gonna go. Welcome to the Mustang 2 front end life. I think that might be some of the reason, well, I assume the reason it is that inexpensive is how often that is used and how regularly available these parts are. So that kind of worked out nicely. I do feel loads safer having this on here, even though this one does look good. We know it took some heat. I guess it's time to go ahead and pump up and attempt to bleed these brakes. You ready? There you go. Nice comfortable seating position there. And a nice nice pedal, huh?
Yeah, look at that. Nice.
Yep. Oopsie. As you can see, actually looks pretty good down in there. So that was just the warning light for the brakes, or what was left of the plastic part just completely melted away. But if we can either get a plug in it or another warning light, we should be safe. Good. And again. Good. And again. And again. Oh yeah. We've got good, strong, clean fluid coming through all of our bleeders. How's that pedal feel? Nice. Now to get driving, we got to get rolling. I love the look of these. They took a lot of heat, but by the looks of it, the actual structural part of the rim still looked really good and really safe. Most of the heat was on the outside band, which is steel anyways, and didn't take near enough because it didn't even burn the chrome off of it. I want to clean it because I think it's going to look really cool, but we do need to go ahead and get the tires off, so we'll snip what's left, and then let's go ahead and start trying to clean these things. And I think it's going to have a cool rainbow look just because of the burn. And we can go ahead and get some new tires put on. Now it took a tremendous amount of work getting them clean and getting them to where they are, and Dad spent a lot of time cleaning each individual lug nut. And then we went down to Jason Whitaker Tire, got a brand new set of Cooper Cobras put on this thing. Wheels are awesome. You cannot replicate the look that we have now, and the reason we are running them is because they are completely steel, so we're not worried about aluminum warping or bending. We're safe, they're still strong, and they're gonna look so cool on the car. Is that not just the coolest thing? Woo! That's some meats. This must be Arby's. I can probably guarantee it's not everyone's cup of tea, but what a cool car. It's a touch long. With wheels, tires, air cleaner, brakes, and we've gone ahead and makeshifted a Mustang seat in there. It's good. It is time to see if we can drive this thing. Can a car get burnt to a crisp and run? Yes. Well, at least this Mercury Comet. Can it drive? I guess we're about to find out. First thing we want to do, because you remember that clutch appears to have issues, but maybe it is just stuck, maybe from all the rust and moisture. So what we're going to go ahead and do first, we're just going to rock it around right here. We'll throw it in something like second gear, and then Dad and I can rock it back and forth while one of us pushes the clutch, and let's see if it frees up. We might have to drag it around a little bit. We might try to crank it in gear and see if we can slam on the brakes. We've done that one before on our 66. Okay. Oh, yeah, pull the motor. Heck yeah. You ready? Yeah, I just want to see if it moves. Another second. What? So we got it in first gear here. I think it's just how floppy these pedals are. They're crazy. Let's give this another try. Oh, clutch it. I got the clutch it. Pedals are too far over. Okay. Carburetor sucks. Ball sacks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's like riding in a tin can.
the coolest car ever. The question was, is this thing drivable? Barely, but yes, it is drivable. Oh my goodness, one of the biggest things that the whole pedal bushings and everything completely melted away, and as I hit the brakes, which work of course, so we're safe, they go this way or this way, and the clutch isn't getting full actuation, so the only gear that we can smoothly get into is first gear, but that was enough for us to drive this thing around and do some donuts. But it is like an absolute tin can. All the shocks are blown out, there's no bushings left in this thing, but it's flipping awesome. I cannot wait. I don't know why. The car is sound, baseline wise, safe wise, the frame and everything is safe, it's solid, we can doll it up, we can make it functional, and we can be safe with it. The body, well, we have something in store in our next episode for that. We are going to drive this car though. Plans with this car, we mentioned it, the Firebird. That is gonna be Dad's driver for Hot Rod Power Tour this year. This one is gonna be mine. But I really hope you all have enjoyed this episode and this rescue of this 1972 Mercury Comet GT. I know some of you think we're absolutely crazy, and you would be correct. We are absolutely crazy. Well, I guess I bought it and am the one to convince Dad that we should drive the thing. So I guess maybe I'm the crazy one. He's just, I'm dragging him along, poor fella. But if you all have enjoyed this and you enjoy these kind of rescues, be sure to the subscribe button, notification bell. And if you have been a part of the channel, we really do appreciate it so incredibly much. But that's gonna wrap it up. My jaw is hurting from smiling and laughing driving this thing around. Peace out and catch you all on the flip side.